Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. Now starting off, I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. Notice we have this uptrend, then a very small break and a push to a new high, followed by an attempt to reverse. Now, price action levels get bigger as more time goes on, like I say all the time. Now, you can clearly see that small break to a new high, followed by a small reversal. But like I said, price action structures get bigger as more time goes on. So you have to understand that this very small break to a new high on a bigger picture is really just one leg up. So, as more price action forms, you're not going to consider this small break to a new high anymore. You just got to look at it as one leg up. Now, this, what you would initially view as the reversal, from this uptrend playing out, is actually the break on the bigger picture. So you have uptrend. Let me draw this out. You have uptrend, break, expecting a new high on a bigger picture. Notice how on a smaller picture, we had uptrend, break, push to a new high, small push to a new high, and then a small reversal. And then as more price action formed, we got this bigger uptrend, we have a bigger break, push to a new high, and a bigger reversal. So it's all relative to the size of the trend and the the breaks and the attempts higher and stuff. So the point is, you got to understand these bigger picture price action structures, and you got to notice the the structures getting larger in real time, because it can get really confusing going from uptrend, break, new high to now thinking, oh, okay, this uptrend still has a break and we're still expecting new high. It can get very confusing. So you just got to draw them out over and over and try to recognize when the bigger picture stuff is coming in play. So at this point right here, when we make this second leg down here, so we have this push down, break, second leg down, the EMA is straight up. It's clearly rejecting the EMA, pushing up very strong with that signal bar. We have these lows forming, very clear, 1, 2, 3. We're clearly sideways. So we're off support, we're off the EMA is up. And when you come off the high, you can expect price to attempt a reversal pattern. But remember one thing, on a big picture, this uptrend, it's just a tiny break to a new high. So I'm not going to use this as the uptrend playing out. I don't really consider this uptrend to be played out to the point where I would expect a reversal. And so when you're holding back above the EMA and you're clearly holding to the bullish side here, you can expect this bigger picture structure to play out. And so really this right here is uptrend, break, first attempt higher, and then this entry is on the second attempt higher right there. It's similar to a failed second entry. It's not as super clear as a failed second entry, but a big picture one. But you see my point here. We have uptrend, break, first attempt higher, and then entry on the second attempt higher. That's very similar to a failed second entry. Now, of course, like I said, we're clearly holding on that support right there. So that's why I like that trade so much. And I did use a limit order just because I didn't want to push it out, because this is the overnight high. It is a very significant level. If I did push it out an extra tick, it would have been fine. But I like to try to not push it out as much as I can. And so anyway, we do reach the overnight high again. We stay choppy for a while, and then we do break back out. So like I said before, the bigger structure was forming. So now we have uptrend, break, new high, and then we immediately reverse back down. And so unfortunately, there's no clear short setups in here. I don't like any of them. It's pretty choppy, pretty clear to stay out of it. And so we push down here. We get these shallow corrections not reaching the EMA. And then here we get this first entry short. That's just a first entry. You don't want to take that. And you get this lower high directly into the overnight low, which it clearly just bounced off of it right there. So it's absolutely in play as support. You don't want to enter short right into that, but it does push on through. And so we continue down here. We get this larger downtrend. It fits very well off those lows, which I am going to adjust them a little bit there. So we have that downtrend. Now we have this break. Now, what I was hoping for was like a clear failed second entry. And I mean like a big picture one. So I was wanting like downtrend, first entry long, second entry long, and then failure, but all below the EMA. I was hoping for something like this. That way it could be like a big picture failed second entry, retesting the overnight high, the overnight low, and then that would be good to continue short. But we didn't get anything like that necessarily. We ended up holding above the EMA and fading. Which this trade right here, I want to get into it because I could understand why it could look a little bit confusing, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So we have this downtrend break. We can expect prices to attempt a new low. So ideally, at this point, what I would like to see is, of course, like I said, that bigger pictures thing, but on a smaller picture, a trade that you could get is a rush above the EMA and then two very clear attempts to reverse back down. They have to be pretty big attempts. I'd like to see a nice rush above and then two very clear attempts holding on the EMA. That way, you could use them as the two attempts at a new low for this downtrend. Now, it would be a smaller picture, so you wouldn't be going for like a crazy 1 to 2 target or anything, but you could absolutely get a nice 1 to 1 out of that. But unfortunately, we don't get that. We just continue up higher, and then we don't reach the EMA on this correction. We continue up. We bounce. No clear entry on this, unfortunately. You don't want to, it just gets very choppy, and you don't want to enter short just because it's retesting. It's very choppy, and it also closed successfully above many times. And so anyways, we push on lower here. This would be a good place to get a failed second entry to go short under the EMA. We just retested. This is a great place for a failed second entry. Unfortunately, we don't get anything, though. I see to the tick. You can see first entry long, second entry long, failure. To me, this is just a straight spike down. I do not, I don't care about these little ticks higher. I want to see actual big structure breaks like these. Like this is a leg to me, not that little tick higher. But so I hope this is the bigger picture stuff is getting more clear. But anyway, so here we bounce up again, and then I start drawing this larger uptrend to see how it holds. Now here, what I was hoping for was 2 legs down that was reaching the key entry point. And there's a reason I do not like going long on this bar right here. So we have downtrend. So sorry, let me back up a second. So we're fading this range. We have this measured move in play, and measured moves act as magnets. So prices are attracted to measured move levels. And mixing fading with that adds probability. Now we have to consider at this point right here, we have this new high and this push down, retesting the overnight. Now, this is a downtrend. Even though we have this bigger picture bullish stuff in play, the measured move and the fade and all that, we still have this short-term downtrend, and it could easily, break, make a new low, and if you went long there, it could still tick higher, make a new low for this short-term downtrend, and then end up going where the big picture stuff was going to go anyway. It could end up going right where you thought it was after you get stopped out on a small picture error. So downtrend, break, expecting a new low. At this point right here, we have not made a new low, and also it's just there's no very bullish reason to think that we wouldn't make a new low. So it could very easily tick higher, push lower, and stop you out. Because at this point it's just getting choppy, and it's basically a fight between these the bulls fading and then the bears on this short-term trend. Now, obviously, it is very, very short-term, so at this point, when we rocketed off here, I wasn't concerned about that anymore, because it was just, instead of wanting a new low for this very small downtrend, I was going with the bigger picture context. So let me just kind of go over to it. So when it's just on that screen right there, downtrend break, you have 1 attempt. You can easily make a second attempt. It's not very bullish looking. It is closing back below the EMA. At this point, it's rocketing higher here. That means this bigger picture structure, this bigger measured move, this bigger fade, this larger, wider uptrend is clearly winning out over this very small downtrend that wants a new low. And so when it rockets off like that, I'm not going to be too concerned about that. I'm just going with the bigger picture structure. As you can see on a big picture, you almost have that first entry short, second entry short failure. You can clearly see you have this first leg up, break, second leg up, and so that is technically a failed second entry on a big picture right at an area where you would expect a fade. So those are two things working together. But yeah, I see why someone would take this, but it's just not good enough to enter long right there. It's really not. It's not very bullish looking. It could easily tick higher and stop you out. At this point, it's just getting so bullish that it's clear the bigger structures are winning out. I'm not going to be concerned with this small downtrend. So anyway, we meet the measured move to the tick. So once again, these measured moves are extremely important. I've had someone come on here one time telling me it's a coincidence, which that's only happened one time, because I know this audience, they understand measured moves, because even in my older videos, I wouldn't explain it super beginner like. Even in my older videos, it was always you had to kind of understand the market a little bit to understand the videos. But I did have someone one time say it's a coincidence, and I responded, I just said, go through every day in the charts. Just open up an ES chart or any chart. It doesn't matter if it's ES or any market. Just go to any market. I trade futures, and just measure the measured moves. Just draw them out. They happen all the time. If you think this is a coincidence right here, that's insane. Those are two perfectly measured legs, and it rejected it to the tick. Are you kidding me? Which it's even off by a tick there. It's literally perfect. Okay? So, anyway, these measure moves are extremely important. A while ago, a very long time ago, I kind of neglected measured moves quite a lot, and I would often forget to draw them, but I'm telling you, you really do got to learn how to draw them, especially if you want to trade bigger picture. If you want to trade bigger picture, there's no question about it, you have to study measured moves. With a lot of scalp entries, it's easier to get away and kind of, not see the bigger measured moves. But if you want to trade big picture, you absolutely have to understand these measured moves. So anyway, we reverse off of that. Once again, I was kind of hoping for a big picture failed second entry. Like if we had gotten, so we have this push down and then we have this leg up right here. If we could have gotten a break and a second leg up exactly like that, that likely would have led into a great looking short. But unfortunately, we don't get that, and we didn't get a clear entry here, unfortunately. I can see on a small picture there's two legs up inside of this leg. It's all closing within this trend line, and then we get this bad, it's just clearly rejecting to the low side. So I wouldn't want to take that just because it closed out. But anyway, we do continue down. At this point, we're going to get really choppy. I'm going to draw out a range, and so, we can tell we're clearly going sideways somewhat. It's a little bit more bearish at first, then we had a sudden spike, but it's clearly holding within this range right here. I might look to extend it to that wick down there. So yeah, anyway, downtrend has a break. We push to a new low. It's pretty choppy on the way down. Unfortunately, there's no really clear entries at all to get in on that short, and then it kind of reverses out of nowhere. There's no reason to go long there. But the EMA straight down, you don't want to enter into that. It's just, you don't know it's going to reverse there for sure. But it does reverse here. We get this first entry. I see, once again, I always mention this when I see it. I see that there's a little wick lower there making technically making a second entry. But to me, I just see one leg up right there. I like to see clear break. Like, to me, that's a second entry. Two clear legs, not a little wick lower. So, yeah, I don't think there's a good short here. To me, that's just one leg up. It could very easily tick lower, attempt a new high, stop you out, and then go right down where you thought it was going to go. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope it helped out in some way. Hope you enjoyed it. And, yep, I'll see y'all next time.